What's going on, YouTube? How is everybody today? Wow, it's good to hear. Today we're going to talk about one of my favorite albums, one of my favorite hip-hop albums period. It's by a group called Madvillain. The name of the album is called Madvillainy, released in 2004 on Stone's Throw Records. What's really hard to believe is that 2004 was like over half a decade ago, 6 years ago, and they're supposed to finally have a follow-up album to this, and that's a long time between albums. It creates quite a bit of hype, quite a bit of, thirst for a new album. If you don't know Madvillain is just this underground hip-hop duo collaboration between MF Doom, who used to be in KMD. He's released quite a bit of solo projects under different names: Victor Vaughn, King Ghidorah, Metal Fingers instrumentals. Madlib, who is also pretty much just the golden child of Stone's Throw Records. He's one of the, one of underground hip hop's more restless, most gifted kind of, hip hop producers. He's made tons of albums, produced albums for like Strong Arm Steady. He's made collaborations with J Dilla under J-Lib. He's got Quasimodo. He does everything. He's got all these kind of, mixtapes out, compilations, his own solo stuff. He's got tons of albums. I own a lot of them. Very gifted guy. Makes very dope beats. Does a lot of obscure sampling and stuff like that. He's really into jazz and like old soul music and funk and like, I don't know. But anyway, these two decided to become partners in crime, start this kind of nefarious, villainous duo, Madvillain. Yeah, it's a pretty good album too. Really good underground hip hop on here. It's got a lot of skits and weird samples. It's spoken word, and it's got pretty much the entire roster of Stone's Throw Records on here. It's got Wild Child, Quasimodo shows up, MED's on here. There's a girl singer on here, a vocalist called Stacey Epps, who I've never heard of before, but she does one of my favorite tracks on here called I. But yeah, all it is pretty much it's really kind of, left field underground hip hop. It's just Madlib doing all kinds of weird samples, sampling Sun Ra, sampling Frank Zappa, Daedalus. He's sampling old like Casablanca movies and Street Fighter 2 samples on here. And then you have MF Doom, who's doing his thing, just using his very kind of slow, grizzled, hard drinking, marijuana smoking kind of voice, rapping about, his usual topics. He raps about, pot, comic books, crime, being a villain, doing a lot of self-referencing, speaking in weird, obscure lines and referencing movies and speaking in non-sequiturs. Very non-linear. It's really hard to tell what he's like, if there's this actual subject matter of an entire song, or if it's just kind of like this weird stream of consciousness rhyme flow he's got going on. It's a very unique thing going on. It's very easy to understand too. He never really raps all that fast. It's sometimes comical, but he's never kind of cartoony. There's always kind of this borderline serious, kind of sinister vibe going about whenever MF Doom's rapping on here. But yeah, it's just pretty much just hip hop. It's got this groovy, weird, jazzy feel to it. Very, I find it very enjoyable, very unique for sure. It took me a while. I didn't like Madvillain the first time I listened to it. It took at least, 4 or 5, maybe even 6 listens before I finally dug it and understood it. At first I didn't really understand. The hardest part of getting into Madvillain for me was just all the weird spoken word skits and stuff, and just how unusual the beats are on here. I guess Madlib could be an acquired taste, maybe. That could be it, but I don't know. It's an album with a lot of twists and turns. It's very varied, but it's also very cohesive. I don't know, lots of thick groove. I guess maybe the one problem about Madvillains is kind of schizophrenic, but I guess they're supposed to be villains, and they're supposed to be kind of, sociopaths, psychotic, with mental imbalances, and it's kind of what this album is, a little mentally unbalanced, very complex, very layered. It's got a lot of ideas, but it comes together very well. It took a while for me to really appreciate it, but now it's definitely one of my favorite albums ever, and I show it to most people when they come over if they haven't heard it. You got friends over, show Madvillain to them, have a couple of beers, talk about Doom a little. It's, I don't know, it's got creepy little cover art too. It's very kind of, I read online that's supposed to be a parody of like a Madonna a Madonna cover. Did I write it down? No, I didn't. Anyway, it's got more cover art inside. There they are, just busting out the beats there. They got a poster from one of my favorite animations, a French animation called Fantastic Planet, The Planet Sauvage. I have a review for that soundtrack up too. And it's just got lyric sheets and stuff, but yeah, his lyrics are very weird. Like I said, just a lot of, you know, it's not really like tough guy posture or anything, just a lot of talking about booze and cars, committing crimes, performing live. Like, I don't know, Doom's rhymes are all over the place. He raps about everything. It's very unusual. Mostly it's about being a villain, being misunderstood and stuff, but it's very crazy. No one really writes lyrics like Doom does. But yeah, Madvillain, very, very good hip-hop album, very creative, very much so like this next level type shit. A lot of Doom's rhymes I forgot to mention, they're not really verse, chorus, chorus, verse, basically just one long verse and no choruses at all. Maybe has a punchline here and there, but hardly ever breaks out into a verse. No auto-tune, no nothing, you know. What am I trying to say here? Nothing. Anyway, very cerebral, oozes a lot of character. Like I said, very unique, very, you know, comedic, but also very dark, very strange. It's a very unusual hip-hop album. And if you have the right kind of mind, if you're in the right kind of circumstances, you probably could really enjoy this. Madvillains, Madvillainy, released in 2004, Stone's Throw Records. I don't know. If you want to get into hip-hop, you're a hip-hop fan, haven't listened to Madvillain, I totally recommend checking it out. It's definitely one of my favorites. Peace.